Alright, we're going to continue with the write-up.
You perceive this and you turn it negative.
No,
and this is not.
That's not the case.
Yeah,
It's
yes,
defining
Phil,
exactly the truth.
You just said that we're trying to get you to quit or something, and that is not the point. That is taking the negative.
Then why did Lorena, at the very last minute, give me directions that she knows I can't complete within that time frame?
This has nothing to do with Lorena.
It has everything to do with Lorena, how she defines me.
This is Kathie's.
This is my write-up.
Based off Lorena's.
Based off your responses to Lorena, based on your inability to respond, based on my long and lengthy discussions with you, and this is based on my assessment of the situation, Philip, and I'm taking full responsibility for it.
Okay. You're fully responsible. Obviously, Kathie hasn't taken any responsibility. The next clip pertains to Kathie and HR Lisa's reaction to my brain disorder. A lot of these were innocent mistakes. It's not for lack of effort of following your directions. Sometimes, I forget, sometimes I get confused. And like I said, when you respond with a terse response on the email, when you said you ask questions, I ask questions, and you respond with terse email. It discourages me from...
My terseness is read the rest of the email and you'll find the answer.
Yeah, that's very terse, and that's very discouraging to me to follow up.
When I have explained something and then you ask me the exact question I have explained.
So that's kind of what she's expressing here.
That's what ADD is. Do you not understand ADD? ADD is...
Philip,
it's very hard to pick up on things sometimes. You have to repeat it to me a lot of times before I pick up on it. My expertise is not in administrative. It's more, or clerical. It's more in the editing. It's more in the artistic side of it.
Part of the position that you hold as promotion producer includes a lot of different things, a lot of different facets, a lot of different essential functions. Mm-hmm. If there's something in particular that you are, requires an accommodation that you're requesting to be reviewed, put that in writing so that we can review it. I know that, Kathie mentioned that she did talk about some ways of sending emails, etc., formatting them.
And I talked to you and I asked for your advice, and that's what I'm referring to when I said that in January we had a discussion and there were some steps that were taken, and that on a day-to-day basis that you had improved in this area.
But if there's anything else, in addition that you'd like to have considered as a, accommodation because of ADD, which you're stating right now, put that in writing and we'll be glad to review that. I stated that
a long time ago.
I mean, I haven't received anything in writing on any particular accommodation that you would request. So
okay,
I'm just saying, if you...
Okay, I'll ask my doctor then.
If you need something to be, considered to accommodation to help you meet the essential functions of your job, we'd be glad to review that. Mm-hmm. So, that's all I'm trying to let you know.
But you will still be expected to perform to the level of your coworkers.
Required of your position. These are some specific job performance things that she's detailing that need to be.
Didn't I just say I have ADD? And that's one of the symptoms of ADD.
Okay. But as she's saying, the job requires certain...
So it basically, it's all about clerical concerns and not...
No, Philip, I had with this spot creative concerns, and I have had other creative concerns with some of the spots that you have done, and those are well discussed.
Seriously? Why does HR Lisa always have another hurdle to jump? Placing bureaucratic barriers before the company recognizes my disability. I stated that I have ADHD a good while back, and she never requested it in writing. What was different now? And despite Kathie saying back in the January meeting that she would accommodate, she never really did. Kathie still got upset over memory lapses that were easily fixable. As far as what?
The very first big one you did with the least direction was the nerdgasm spot, and I looked at it and I said, where did these graphics come from? You needed help with graphics. And so you had to go back and have a designer work on it. There were numerous times with Topicals where you'd show me the morning show promos, and I would say, no, we need to go have a designer work on this. I edit your copy just about every night. I have creative concerns about your work. Or creative, there are, just as I do with everyone else.
This goes back to the first memo then, because you said, when I first started, I have free run to go whichever I want to take the morning show. Lorena, she wanted to control everything of it. She, despite what you said, she wanted to control every direction on it.
I think that as we saw where you were going with it, and as we...
But that was the first week. It was, you hadn't even had a chance to see where I was going with it. And the thing is, you're still using the same format that I used. So your disappointment is still the same process that you're using. It's just a different producer. I don't understand where this comes from. I don't understand it.
And I'm not prepared to have a discussion about this at the moment. I'm prepared to discuss this memo, Philip. I've been trying to...
That's the problem, is that Lorena wanted to control everything in the morning pro, but you're blaming me for the failures of some of the programs, even though it was Lorena's control.
Philip, I disagreed with your graphic design and post-production on the promo.
Well, you just mentioned you mentioned the topicals.
The topicals I review with you now every day. Yes, those topicals, I review them with you, and I make changes to your copy consistently.
Yeah, Kathie is right. I'm not a designer. Just going by my demo reel alone shows that I'm not a designer. I'm one of the very rare producer-designer hybrids in the industry, who again has worked in top markets, including a network. I've seen and done what professionals create. Kathie, on the other hand, has worked at the same place for over 20 years, and the Austin area is number 40 in market size. I'll admit it takes a lot of moxie for Kathie to practically declare herself an authority on design. But apparently, Kathie had forgotten I had designed the original logo for the Nerdgasm spot that I later sent to the hub for finalizing. Kathie approved the logo and was pleased with not only the concept, but the full campaign I was planning to create, which was basically breaking through the coveted fourth wall of TV, offering the viewer a free Nerdgasm ringtone on the website. The idea behind the promotion was the main Big Bang Theory audience of college students would likely download a ringtone, which in turn would catch the attention of other college students in the demographic, basically allowing the students to do extra promoting for the show. Due to technological limitations, it didn't work out as well as I hoped, and because of the heavy day-to-day workload, I never got a chance to do follow-up promotions, as I had originally intended. Nevertheless, this was my out-of-the-box idea, based on the total sum of my experience working in top markets. And let me just tell you, getting these kinds of promotional concepts are very rare, even at the top levels. Oh, by the way, just to show you what kind of employee I am, this was a concept I worked on before my first day at Fox 7 Austin, so that from the moment I walked in the door, I was ready to produce the promotion. The next clip is a cause for my termination, for revealing in the meeting that I had tested Lorena to see if she was going to change professionally finished copy. Please take notice of the reactions and responses. Let me put it this way. I have a peep who works in the network.
What is a peep?
Person, a friend.
Okay.
And just for grins, I had to write some copy for me. And I took it to Lorena. She changed it. It was a good copy. She changed it. It's from a network person. Told her the parameters of the story, and she changed it. Just for the sake of changing it.
Well, we went through all this, the changes for the sake of changes and all those things, and we're back to that you need to follow the direction of your manager in...
Okay, you're following the direction, but
your network person doesn't live in Austin. They don't know this.
I gave the parameters of it. Of the story. It wasn't even the local story. Anyways, the thing of it is that I'm being defined by her mistakes.
You're being defined by...
You're being defined by the way that you behave.
Oh, if you're being redefined, I think you would behave the same way. I will not be defamed again. I will not tolerate defamation.
This isn't defamation. This is job performance memorandum about job performance.
Do I need to provide all the evidence?
If you would please sign on the back. This will go in your personnel file. If there's anything you would like to provide that would be attached as well, you're welcome to do so.
Okay. It's going to take some time.
You're welcome to sign that for me.
Do I have to sign it now, or can I because this is admission of guilt, basically, right?
No, if you'll read. And then you're welcome to give a response.
So, Lisa's reaction was to justify her stance on change for the sake of change, a very bureaucratic answer with no resolution to a real problem, and only concerned with getting me to sign the write-up. Kathie's reaction was to poke holes through my test covering for Lorena. Neither managers were admonishing of my testing of Lorena. However, it was apparently enough to use as convenient cause for termination. Because we are all imperfect creatures, when you look at someone long enough, sooner or later you will find something you don't like. All I did was test Lorena to confirm my suspicions of her being a fraud. All Lorena did was lie about me, and yet I was the one who was fired. I swear, I must be living on Planet Bizarro. So just like the last time, I was furious with Lorena. I should have been absolutely hostile to her later that day. Here's the audio clip of the May 5th Topical review with Lorena. Sweeps piece, that's already has an independent promotion, right?
Remind me what this piece is about.
Move On.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's one to make sure. Okay. I think that his other story is pretty compelling as well, with the property tax hikes.
Okay. What are your avails tonight?
There's two of them, just
220s?
yeah, that's it.
Okay. What time?
7:49 and 8:46. I mean, it's all Jack Bauer either way, so.
Oh, that's right.
It's 2 hours of Jack Bauer.
That's right. Wow, you're going to have a huge audience tonight.
I hope so. I mean, because I didn't get much response from the Facebook contest. I mean, people were...
It's different.
I guess so, but I mean, well...
My dad's a huge 24 fan.
I'm a huge 24 fan, but I think...
But he would not have entered that contest.
Yeah. I think the audience probably just is getting older. Just older. It is older. The youngers don't care. But anyway, so the property tax is a very good one, I think.
I think so. Most of it's property tax.
Often homeowners got a shocking mail from the city saying that their property tax is going up 15%.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, and just it's crazy. And I mean, is everyone not taxed enough? You know,
Yeah.
getting 15%.
Why?
The reason why they said is that the demand for homes has been outstripping the supply and driving up prices.
Right.
So that's what they're saying.
Did they say when it's going to go up?
No, I don't think so. But he mentioned there's a deadline to challenge the new tax, which is June 2nd.
Okay, so it's not officially.
Yeah, I think they got the.
They're just talking about it.
They were given the warning, I guess, basically in the mail.
So it's going to happen, or
It's going to happen, but they can still challenge it, and hopefully it will be challenged and defeated. Because I mean that's just crazy.
That's crazy. We have a huge property tax in Texas.
Yeah, and there's one guy who lives in the northeast Austin, and by law, state law, they cannot exceed 10%. But he's saying even with that cap, there's no bite. It's just talking, I think. He's worried that it could force him out.
It's a great story, Phil.
Yeah. So there you go. Very cordial and non-threatening. Pretty boring, actually. Okay, one more audio clip. We'll go back to the first write-up meeting on December 12th, 2013. This will establish the consistency of a disinterest in evidence by Kathie and HR Lisa.
When we had discussions, we always trying to get to this point. And with Lorena, it was always, she kept pointing out this one specific point, or this little point of it, that really was superficial in the end.
That's your interpretation.
That's what's got to stop.
One frame.
No, she did not tell you to change one frame. I asked you for the specific example of one frame. I discussed it with her pointedly. I told her that was unacceptable for her to be, or it was unreasonable for her to respect a one frame change. She said absolutely not. She did not request a one frame change.
Well, she was dishonest on that, or she doesn't remember.
Okay, can you tell me exactly what project it was?
No, it's,
okay.
everything
there
is so
you
blurred.
There you go. You know.
You want me to go down into my cubicle, jot down every little instance?
No, we don't. What we want you to do is going forward to.
Well, that's why I'm trying to get to this point. You said it's not acceptable for that one frame change, but you don't want to take it at face value as far as what I said.
I needed a specific example of if you asked.
So then if that's to remedy that, I have to...
Philip, listen.
Yeah.
If this one frame
Doesn't matter.
change was such a big deal to you, you should remember what spot it was on. And you can't remember what spot it was on. She says absolutely it would be unreasonable to request a one frame change. She was questioned at length about that particular point that you made, and we're not going to dwell on the one frame change.
Okay.
No, we're not.
This is an overall. This is not related to any one.
One little incident.
Incident.
This is the results of the overall
yeah.
investigation, to her concerns and to your concerns. And I think this pretty clearly lays out what the results were.
Notice how tolerant HR Lisa was of Kathie's behavior? Yeah, this was a thorough investigation, all right. Before we wrap this up, I have to address the scurrilous and defamatory accusation of making people fearful around me. Here's something interesting to note. According to paragraph 35 of the EEOC, there is a very familiar theme, and the uncanny irony is how it perfectly aligns up with Fox 7's reasons for getting rid of me. As follows: must an employer withhold discipline or termination of an employee who, because of disability, violated a conduct rule that is job-related for the position in question and consistent with business necessity? No, an employer never has to excuse a violation of a uniformly applied conduct rule that is job-related and consistent with business necessity. This means, for example, that an employer never has to tolerate or excuse violence, threats of violence, stealing, or destruction of property. An employer may discipline an employee with a disability for engaging in such misconduct if it would impose the same discipline on an employee without disability, which tells us instead of reacting to a situation, the management was proactive in researching termination options for someone with a disability, and miraculously all the pieces conveniently fit the ADA's definitions. So definitely the plan all along was to fire me. Here is more evidence, and I've been saving this piece from the May 19th, 2014 suspension meeting with GM Mike for this moment.
Going nowhere.
Okay.
Okay. I wish you well. Okay. And things may work out just fine. I don't know. But your job is in jeopardy. We send that file up. Yeah, just no mistake, right? Your job is in jeopardy.
Yes, Freudian slips can be very revealing to a person's true intent. The final cause for termination was listed as unprofessional behavior that I set up my immediate supervisor, Lorena, which again was done for personal information purposes of seeing what Lorena would do with network written copy, as she was consistently making changes for the sake of change and ultimately wasting company time. Meaning Lorena changed copy for the sake of her own appeasement and not based on any professional experience. Now to add a new wrinkle and a message to Fox News. The term according to the EEOC is job-related. When I filed for unemployment with the state of Texas, there was a month-long investigation. Here are their findings. Our investigation found that your employer fired you for a reason that was not misconduct connected with the work. The line should have actually read as misconduct not connected with the work. And I called the unemployment office to verify this. Seeing that my termination doesn't fall under the parameters of the EEOC as verified by the state of Texas, adding that to the presented hard evidence, there was absolutely no cause for termination. Guess what, Fox News? You're guilty of firing a qualified minority with a disability over a manager's lies. Good luck at trying to get your reputation and credibility back. Instead of being proactive in my termination, you should have been more proactive in getting to the raw naked truth. But that wasn't your only opportunity. Once I went public with the evidence, you still could have made this right. Yet you chose to ignore the evidence, despite GM Mike being fully aware of the recordings. You might think it's a good strategy to claim ignorance, but in the public's eye, it would only have the effect of making you look either incompetent or guilty of a cover-up. The longer you wait to act, the more damaged your credibility will get. And being people who work in the news industry, you should know how maintaining credibility in the public's eye is of utmost importance. I've already stated this wasn't about money, so I see no legitimate reason for you to not open up a dialogue with me and get to the bottom of what is going on in one of your affiliates, especially when given the management's pattern of dishonest behavior, they're likely to do it again to someone else, meaning they're a potential financial liability. Despite what your corporate attorneys are advising, don't assume that I'm not holding all the cards. You've already went all in and lost. Believing your hand of 4 managers was strong enough. My hand of evidence has already left a permanent stain on the Fox News brand. How far you're willing to gamble your reputation away is up to you. Your window of opportunity to defuse the situation is closing, and closing fast. Time is your enemy. You can either take the lead now, or wait until your hand is forced. Either way, there are consequences on the horizon. The full consequences being a complete loss of brand credibility and public scorn should you refuse to act. Keep in mind, I didn't bring this upon you. Your managers brought this upon you. Don't waste this golden opportunity because you won't get another chance to make this right. And with that, this concludes Chapter 4, and more importantly, the evidence portion of the series. The American Workplace Bully continues in Chapter 5, but it will be about yours truly, as well as helpful advice if you're being bullied in the workplace. As always, please share and post comments, feel free to vent similar workplace bullying stories, but remember, employers are also reading as well. Just be honest. And we'll see you for the next chapter of the American Workplace Bully. Thank you for watching.